All right, boys and girls. So wrapping up our discussion today on heart health, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about heart disease. Now we're only going to talk a little bit about heart disease because as younger students, you are less likely to encounter heart problems. Now, it's not impossible, so I want you to really pay attention and stay focused on how you can continue to make your heart healthy, because your heart health depends on your heart health later in life depends on the habits that you start to create as you are a young child. And so what we're going to start with today is just some heart disease. Coronary heart disease, according to the Center for Disease Control, is the most common type of heart disease. So coronary heart disease, what that is when that occurs when your arteries that supply blood to your heart narrow, okay? And they get narrow or they harden because of the buildup of plaque. And plaque can build up in your blood from different things like cholesterol or sodium, and those kinds of things. And so the more your arteries kind of harden or get blocked, the less oxygen-rich blood gets into your heart, and it can damage your heart that way. Coronary heart disease can lead to chest pain. When I say chest pain, I mean it would really hurt, okay? And then eventually it could lead to what's called a heart attack. And that means that your heart is not receiving enough oxygen-rich blood. So coronary heart disease is the leading cause of death from heart disease in the United States. And then the second type of heart disease is just called heart failure. Okay, and this occurs slowly over time. And so it's not something that's going to be sudden. It takes a long time for heart failure to happen. Heart failure can occur because you have had some sort of an injury to your heart. An injury to your heart or the muscle of your heart is usually caused by uncontrolled high blood pressure, which again is caused by buildup of things in your blood vessels, in your arteries, a heart attack, or one of your heart valves, which we talked about a few weeks ago, not working properly. So those things can damage your heart, and then over time, your heart can begin to weaken and then give out. And so that's what heart failure is. So those are the leading types of heart disease that cause problems for Americans. And some things that can lead to the heart disease happening are things like not being active. Okay, so it's what we call a sedentary lifestyle. That means that we are not getting up and moving, we're not exercising, and exercise looks different. Okay, it could be one thing for one person, it could be something completely different for somebody else. But having a sedentary lifestyle, which means you're not exercising, the things that we put into our bodies, okay, things like soft drinks or energy drinks that are high in sugar, anything that's really high in sugar can cause that buildup in your arteries and your blood vessels. Things that are high in sodium or salt. Okay, sodium is another word for salt. So anything that's really high in sodium can elevate your cholesterol, which is another way that our blood vessels and arteries can get clogged up, leading to heart disease. Smoking and tobacco use is a really harmful way it damages your lungs, one, and then it's got some negative things that can enter into your blood flow. It makes exercising more difficult. So sedentary lifestyle, too much sugar, too much sodium, and tobacco products like smoking are all major risk factors for heart disease. Okay, and so we want to try to avoid those things in order to make our hearts as healthy as we possibly can. And so what we need to do is we need to be exercising. Okay. When I say exercising, yes, getting out and lifting weights, and stretching, and all that kind of stuff is great and it's very helpful. But when I say exercise, we need to really focus on our cardiorespiratory endurance. Okay, so activities that are really going to work our heart muscle, so that we can make it stronger, so that our blood can continue to flow through our body properly. So we should be doing 6 to 7 days of cardiorespiratory activities throughout the week. And so that's almost every day, okay? And we want to do it for 30 minutes to an hour every day, every time we do it. This is going to help promote our heart health. It's going to ensure that we are not living that sedentary lifestyle. It's going to help us with our body composition, so we're less likely to be overweight or obese, which are big risk factors for heart disease as well. We want to avoid foods and drinks that are high in sugar and high in salt. Okay, so instead of going to the refrigerator and getting a soda, maybe you go to the refrigerator and you grab some water and you use some sugar-free flavoring packets to add some flavor. I'm not saying that you can't have soda every once in a while or sweet tea every once in a while, but we want to reduce the amount of sugar and salt from those things. All right, when we go to eat our dinner, we want to make sure that we're including our fruits and vegetables and our protein, like meats, into our diet, and not just focusing on things that are going to be higher in sodium. When you go out to eat, restaurants tend to use a lot of seasonings that are high in salt. And so if we can minimize the number of times that we're eating out in a week, that is also going to be very beneficial and very helpful, because your salt intake, your sodium intake is not going to be as high. If you're eating French fries, for an example, maybe use a sauce like a ketchup or a barbecue or a honey mustard or something like that, instead of adding additional salt to your French fries. Okay, so that's just another example. And then we want to avoid tobacco products. So we don't want to start smoking. We don't want to do any vaping or anything like that. We want to keep our heart and lungs healthy. So we want to, as you get older, we want to try and avoid those things. And those habits start now, boys and girls, as you're in elementary school. So if you can start to get into those good healthy routines and those good healthy habits now in elementary school, then later on when you're a teenager or an adult, those decisions are easier, and you are less likely to develop these heart problems later on in life. So I'm going to send you on to another activity, and then we're going to wrap up for the day. So I hope you have a good time with this next activity, boys and girls.